You think love is enough. You think that as long as you care about each other, everything will work out. You think good intentions and butterflies in your stomach are all you need to build something lasting. But here's the truth that will change everything. Love without respect is just beautiful destruction in slow motion. And if you don't understand this one fundamental principle, you'll watch even your strongest connections crumble, wondering what went wrong. I've counseled thousands of couples over the past decade, and I can tell you this with absolute certainty: the relationships that last aren't the ones with the most passion, the most compatibility, or even the most love. They're the ones built on a foundation of deep, unwavering mutual respect. And that's what 90% of people get completely wrong. In this video, I'm going to reveal the relationship secret that couples therapists charge hundreds to teach, the one thing that separates relationships that last from relationships that crash and burn. We're going to dive deep into what real respect looks like, why it's more important than love, and exactly how to build it in your relationship starting today. Are you ready? Let's dive in. 1. Respect isn't what you think it is. Most people think respect means being polite, saying please and thank you, not raising your voice during arguments, opening doors and pulling out chairs. But that's just surface-level courtesy, and it has almost nothing to do with the kind of respect that builds lasting relationships. Real respect in relationships goes much deeper. It's about seeing your partner as a complete human being with their own thoughts, feelings, dreams, fears, and boundaries that exist independently of you. It's about understanding that they had a full life before you met them, and they'll continue to grow and evolve throughout your relationship together. Here's where most couples get it completely wrong. They love the version of their partner that makes them happy, but they struggle to respect the parts that challenge them. When she needs alone time after a long day, you take it personally and assume she doesn't want to be with you. When he has different political views, you make it your mission to change his mind because, how can someone I love think so differently? When she wants to pursue a career goal that means traveling more or working longer hours, you guilt trip her because it affects your time together. But respect means loving someone and honoring their right to be different from you. It means supporting their growth even when it's inconvenient for you. It means trusting their judgment even when you disagree with their choices. It means celebrating their individuality instead of trying to mold them into your perfect partner. Because here's the thing most people don't realize: you can love someone deeply and still slowly erode their sense of self. You can care with every fiber of your being while simultaneously making them feel small, unheard, or trapped. And when that happens, love becomes suffocating instead of liberating. It becomes a cage instead of wings. Think about it this way: have you ever been in a relationship where someone loved you intensely but didn't respect you? Maybe they loved you, but they didn't trust your decisions. They loved you, but they tried to change fundamental parts of who you are. They loved you, but they made you feel like you had to earn their approval every single day. How did that feel? Exhausting, right? That's love without respect. 2. The anatomy of disrespect, and why we don't see it coming. Before we talk about building respect, we need to understand how disrespect creeps into relationships, because it's usually subtle. It doesn't start with screaming matches or obvious abuse. It starts small, with patterns we barely notice. The control pattern: this shows up as caring too much. You start monitoring their phone because you're worried about them. You make decisions for them because you want to protect them from making mistakes. You discourage friendships that you think are bad influences. You justify it as love, but what you're really saying is, I don't trust you to live your own life. The improvement project: you fall in love with someone, then immediately start trying to fix them. You suggest better clothes, healthier habits, different career choices. You think you're helping them become their best self, but what they hear is, you're not good enough as you are. The emotional hostage situation: every time they want something different from what you want, you get hurt. They want to spend Friday night with friends instead of you. You're devastated. Do they need space to think through a problem? You panic and assume they're pulling away. Your emotional reaction becomes their responsibility to manage. The mind-reading trap: you expect them to know what you need without asking. If they really loved you, they'd remember that you hate surprise parties. If they truly cared, they'd notice when you're upset. You turn love into a constant test they don't even know they're taking. Here's what's insidious about these patterns: they feel like love. The person doing them genuinely believes they're loving their partner well. But the person receiving them feels suffocated, controlled, and like they can never quite measure up. 3. The 2 pillars of mutual respect. Now let's talk about what real respect looks like. I've identified 4 foundational pillars that every respectful relationship must have. First pillar, emotional safety. This means your partner never has to walk on eggshells around you. They can share their honest feelings without fear of judgment, anger, or retaliation. They can be vulnerable without it being used against them later during an argument. They can disagree with you without it becoming a character assassination or a threat to the relationship. Emotional safety means that when your partner says, "I'm struggling with something," your first response isn't defensiveness or problem solving. It's curiosity and support. When they share something that makes them feel vulnerable, you don't minimize it or compare it to your own experiences. You honor their emotional reality. I had a client, Sarah, who told me she stopped sharing her work stress with her husband because every time she did, he would either dismiss it, "That doesn't sound that bad," or immediately jump into fix-it mode, "Here's what you should do." She didn't need him to solve her problems. She needed him to witness her experience and validate that it was real and difficult for her. Emotional safety also means your partner can express needs that might be inconvenient for you. They can say, "I need space tonight," without you taking it as rejection. They can say, "I'm not in the mood for sex," without you making it about your worth as a partner. They can say, "I disagree with you," without you questioning their loyalty or intelligence. Second pillar, individual identity. Healthy couples are 2 whole people choosing to share a life together, not 2 half people trying to complete each other. This means maintaining your own friendships, hobbies, goals, and dreams. It means encouraging your partner to do the same, even if it means less time together in the short term. Individual identity means you're not threatened by your partner having experiences without you. When they come home excited about something that happened with their friends, you're genuinely happy for them instead of feeling left out. When they develop a new interest that doesn't include you, you celebrate their growth instead of feeling abandoned. One of the most beautiful relationships I've ever witnessed was between 2 people who had been married for 30 years. When I asked them their secret, the wife said, "We've never stopped being fascinated by each other because we've never stopped growing individually. I'm not the same person he married, and neither is he. We fall in love with new versions of each other all the time." This pillar also means you don't lose yourself in the relationship. You don't abandon your friends because your partner doesn't like them. You don't give up your dreams because they require sacrifice from your partner. You don't change your core values to avoid conflict. You remain authentically yourself while learning to love someone else authentically. 4. The respect test. Try this tonight. Here's a simple but revealing test to see if your relationship has mutual respect. I want you to honestly answer these questions. Can both of you be completely honest about your needs without fear of retaliation? Can you say, "I need space tonight," without your partner panicking or taking it personally? Can you express that you find someone else attractive without it causing a 3-day fight about your commitment? Can you admit when you're wrong without it being held over your head forever? Can you disagree about important topics without it becoming a threat to your relationship? Can you have different political views, different approaches to money, different social needs, and still feel loved and accepted? Can you change your mind about something without your partner feeling betrayed? Can you both pursue individual goals that require sacrifice from the other person? If you wanted to go back to school, start a business, or take a job in another city, would your partner support your growth even if it was inconvenient for them? Would you do the same for them? Can you both have bad days, make mistakes, and be imperfect humans without it damaging your partner's love for you? When you're stressed, grumpy, or dealing with personal challenges, does your partner give you grace, or do they take it personally and make it about them? If the answer is no to any of these questions, you might have love, but you don't have respect. And without respect, love becomes possessive, anxious, and ultimately destructive. 5. How to build respect when it's missing. The good news is that respect can be built, even if it's been damaged. But it requires intentional effort from both people. Here's how to start. Start with yourself. You cannot give what you don't have. If you don't respect yourself, your own boundaries, your own needs, your own growth, you'll struggle to respect your partners. This means working on becoming someone you're proud to be, independent of the relationship. Ask yourself, do I respect my own time? Do I honor my own boundaries? Do I pursue my own growth and dreams? Do I speak to myself with kindness? If you're constantly self-critical, always available to others at your own expense, or sacrificing your own needs to keep peace, you're modeling disrespect, and it will show up in your relationship. Practice curiosity over judgment. When your partner does something that frustrates you, instead of assuming malicious intent, get curious. Help me understand why this is important to you. What are you feeling right now? How can we solve this together? This simple shift from judgment to curiosity can transform your relationship dynamic. I had a client whose wife would spend hours on the phone with her sister every Sunday. He was frustrated because it was their only full day together, and he felt like she was choosing her sister over him. Instead of starting another fight about it, he got curious. He asked her what those calls meant to her. She explained that her sister was going through a difficult divorce and had no other support system. Those calls weren't about choosing her sister over him, they were about being there for someone she loved during a crisis. Once he understood the context, they were able to find a solution that honored both his need for couple time and her need to support her sister. Celebrate their independence. When your partner chooses to spend time with you instead of doing something else they enjoy, acknowledge that choice. Thank them for choosing you, not because they have to, but because they want to. This shifts the dynamic from obligation to appreciation. Stop seeing their individual interests as competition. If your partner loves hiking and you hate it, don't guilt them for going without you. Celebrate the fact that they have something that brings them joy. Be genuinely interested in hearing about their adventures. Ask them to teach you what they've learned, even if you don't want to participate yourself. Learn their respective languages. Just like people have different love languages, they have different ways of feeling respected. For some people, respect feels like being trusted to make their own decisions. For others, it's having their feelings validated even when you don't understand them. For some, it's being supported in their goals even when it requires sacrifice. For others, it's having their boundaries honored without argument. Pay attention to what makes your partner feel most respected, and prioritize those things. Ask them directly, what makes you feel most respected in our relationship? Their answers might surprise you. Address disrespect immediately. If you notice yourself being disrespectful, whether it's dismissing their feelings, trying to control their choices, or violating their boundaries, stop and address it immediately. I just realized I was trying to make this decision for you, and that's not respectful. What do you think we should do? This kind of real-time correction builds trust and shows your commitment to growth. 6. The beautiful truth about respectful love. Here's what happens when you build a relationship on mutual respect. Your partner feels free to be themselves, which makes them more attractive, not less. They feel safe to be vulnerable, which deepens your intimacy. They feel supported in their growth, which makes them grateful to share their life with you. When people feel respected, they blossom. They become more confident, more creative, more generous. They bring their best self to the relationship because they feel safe to do so. They're not constantly defending themselves or trying to prove their worth. They can focus on loving you well because they trust that you see and value who they really are. And here's the beautiful paradox: the more you respect your partner's independence, the more they choose to share their life with you. The more you honor their right to leave, the more they want to stay. The more you love them without trying to own them, the deeper your connection becomes. Respectful love creates a positive cycle. When you feel respected, you're more capable of respecting others. When your partner feels valued for who they are, they're more likely to treat you with the same honor. When both people feel safe to be authentic, intimacy deepens naturally. 7. Common myths about respect in relationships. Let me address some common misconceptions that keep couples stuck. Myth 1. If you really loved me, you'd want to spend all your free time with me. Truth. Healthy love includes supporting each other's individual growth and friendships. Someone who wants to maintain their own identity isn't loving you less, they're loving you from a healthier place. Myth 2. Respecting boundaries means you don't really care. Truth. Respecting boundaries shows you care about your partner's well-being more than your own immediate desires. It's actually the highest form of caring. Myth 3. If we really understand each other, we shouldn't need to communicate so much. Truth. Even the most compatible couples need ongoing communication because people grow and change. Assuming you know what your partner needs without asking is disrespectful to their evolution. Myth 4. Jealousy proves how much you love someone. Truth. Jealousy is usually about fear and insecurity, not love. Respectful love trusts your partner to make good choices and doesn't try to control their interactions with others. 8. When respect is missing, the slow death of love. Without respect, even the strongest love eventually dies. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow erosion that happens in moments so small you barely notice them. Each time you dismiss their feelings, override their choices, or make them feel bad for having needs different from yours, you chip away at the foundation of your relationship. People can tolerate a lot when they feel respected. They can work through differences, overcome challenges, and forgive mistakes. But when respect is gone, even small problems feel insurmountable because there's no foundation of trust and safety to build solutions on. I've seen couples who still loved each other deeply end their relationships because the respect was gone. And I've seen couples with very little in common build beautiful, lasting relationships because the respect was rock solid. 9. The daily practice of respect. Building respect isn't a one-time conversation or decision. It's a daily practice that requires ongoing attention and intention. Here are some practical ways to make respect a habit. Morning intention. Start each day by setting an intention to see your partner clearly. Not as an extension of yourself, not as a supporting character in your story, but as a complete person deserving of honor and consideration. Evening reflection. End each day by asking yourself, how did I show respect today? Where could I have done better? This kind of honest self-reflection accelerates growth. Weekly check-ins. Set aside time each week to ask each other, how are you feeling in our relationship? Is there anything you need more of? Is there anything that's not working for you? Create space for honest feedback without defensiveness. Monthly gratitude. Once a month, share specific things you respect about your partner. Not just what they do for you, but who they are as a person. Their courage, their kindness, their growth, their unique perspective on life. Remember this, in respectful relationships, people stay not because they have to, but because they genuinely want to. They wake up each day and choose to share their life with you, not out of obligation or fear, but out of genuine desire and appreciation. And that makes all the difference. Love might be what brings people together, but respect is what keeps them together. Love is the spark, but respect is the steady flame that burns for decades. Love is the foundation, but respect is what builds the house. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments, what's one way you want to show more respect in your relationship this week? And if you found this helpful, subscribe for more real talk about building relationships that actually last. Remember, love gets you in the door, but respect keeps you in the house. And when you have both, you don't just have a relationship, you have a partnership that can weather any storm and celebrate every victory together.